Hi, this is Dwight Tankersley. I'm here to help you try to understand the process for representing a client on an auction and explain to you, number one, how you get paid, but also the terms and conditions and the other things involved in that auction. If you're interested in one of our auctions, you would go to our auction page. It's auction.agencyonmain.com. Scroll down to the auction you're interested in. We're going to use the 3 bedroom home on Betty Street. Just click view auction. When that loads, as you scroll down, you can see we'll have information about the house. Uh, Most time we're going to have more information here than was on the MLS. The first place you want to go is the tab that says files. The most important one is this broker participation form. We're going to talk about that first. That is actually how you get paid. So when that form opens up, as you can see here, if you want to represent a client before they come to our website or contact Chris or I, you need to get this form to us. It's easy to fill out. You just put your name and the name of your company, the prospect you're representing, the auction that they're looking at, and it tells you that we need them, we need the form completed 24 hours before the auction ends, and we'd like for them to place a bid, pre-bid at least 12 hours before the close of bidding. That's to help you and us, and we don't want them calling it with 2 minutes left in the auction and say, I can't figure out how to bid. So that is really to help protect you, because at that point, we probably won't be able to get their bid in. You would sign it here, your client will sign it here, we will sign it here and get it back to you. That's the short and simple on how you get paid. The next form is the auction information package. That's going to tell the information on the property along with our terms and conditions. You can see it's already loaded up here. Uh, as you scroll down, it's going to have our terms and conditions, tell you the time of the auction. Any of our real estate auctions are going to have a 10% buyer's premium. That means if your client bids $100,000, they add 10% to that to set their purchase price. In that case, it'd be $110,000, and they would put that $10,000 down as a deposit. That's going to be non-refundable unless the seller fails to close for some reason. They couldn't get you title or those reasons. And as you can see, we make that very clear that it's their obligation to close. Uh, this money is non-refundable. Conduct the auction. We may have additional terms. Typically that never happens, but we're trying to cover in case something changes. We're going to sell this property as a whole. An unsuccessful bidder could make a backup bid. You need to always look here. We're going to the closing. We've got a date set. It's got to close on or before June 2nd. If they fail to close, they lose their money. The auction is going to close at McBride Richardson. The closing cost. All costs associated with the closing of the transaction shall be paid by the buyer. The only thing the seller is going to pay is prorated taxes and deed prep. Buyer pays everything else, 100% of title insurance. Property is being sold as is, where is, with all faults and defects. Your client needs to inspect the property to their best of their ability, make sure they're happy with it before they bid. There are no contingencies on an inspection. They're buying it as it is. It is their responsibility to look at that property. We're going to make sure they will get good title by statute, by warranty deed or general warranty deed. Title insurance is at the buyer's expense. Uh, we are doing our best to represent that property correctly, but we have, as you can read the disclaimer there, There will be a real estate sales contract. It is attached at the end of this form that they will sign. We're using an auction contract. They must register to bid in the auction, obviously. The broker participation, there's the right here in our terms talking about it, but we've already taken care of that. Agency on Main is an exclusive agent of the seller in all auctions. Most auctions are going to have a reserve. So if it doesn't meet the reserve, what does that mean? That means first and foremost that we're going to try to negotiate with, if it's your client, we'll negotiate through you with our seller and try to reach an agreement and get it sold. The majority of the time that does happen. If we don't get it with the high bidder, we may go to a backup bidder. And we have, in more than one occasion, sold it to a backup bidder. We've actually had an auction where somebody chose not to bid. They decided it was going to go too high, and then they ended up being the buyer after the auction. The next page is the information on the property. You'll always want to read through that, make sure that there's nothing special. That if we've got any issues, we do our best. We will disclose it, not our best, but if we know of one, we're going to disclose it in this property information. There are no special assessments. We are telling you this one is subject to owner confirmation of the bid price. The financing, it's not contingent on financing. Doesn't mean your buyer can't use financing. Just keep in mind, if something happens with their financing and they fail to close on time, they lose that down payment if the appraisal's bad. I've had people ask me if you could use VA financing. I've never had that done. If they've got the 10% down and the VA agrees, yes. Keep in mind, even if they've got that down, if they're talking about VA or FHA, the majority of the time the lender wants the seller to sign some kind of document about that financing. My sellers will not sign anything associated with that, because that then puts it back that it's contingent on financing, and they're not going to sign that document for you. So make sure your clients understand. We will work with the lender in any way we can, but we're not going to sign something to make it contingent on financing. Financing falls through, you lose your money. Then the rest of the package we'll put maps, floor plans, any other information we may have. This is a copy of the sales contract. Recommend that you read it. We use the basic same sales contract on every transaction. It just covers all our terms and conditions. It's in here for your buyer's reference, not for you to have to fill out. We will have your buyer sign this document before they're approved to bid, and that you will sign it that you've explained it to your client. We're going to close these out. The other files, the bidder acknowledgement form, is just a form that pulls out the general terms here. One of the things that your bidder needs to know that's in our terms and conditions that I didn't cover is if there is a reserve, if they put in a max bid, the system will bid their max bid until the reserve is met. At that point, it will bid against other bidders, but until the reserve is met, it's going to bid their max bid. The rest of these forms, I think are pretty self-explanatory to an agent. You got the lead-based paint disclosure. We got the pamphlet about lead-based paint, the broker participation, and I've got a PDF copy of the GLA report on this one that shows how the square footage was figured. If you have any questions after watching this video, please don't hesitate to call Chris or myself. Our phone numbers right here on every page. As you can see, Chris's is right there. Mine is right here. You probably already have those. Be glad to answer your questions. We will ask you if you've watched this video. We might even ask you for the password, which is Scrumptious. We have a lot of agents that don't want to watch our videos. They just call and ask random questions, we do ask that you watch the video. We look forward to working with you on any auction transaction. Hope you have a great day.